Hello everyone, welcome to CS Netflix. In this video, we'll be discussing about transactions in DBMS. Do subscribe to CS Netflix to get the updates of my upcoming videos in which we shall discuss all the previous year MCQs from GATE, NET, NILIT and other public sector computer science exams. So let's get started. Before jumping on to the definition of transaction, let us try to understand it with the help of an example. As you can see here, there are two data items A and B. A has to send rupees 50 to B. Initially A has rupees 200 and B has rupees 100 in its account. And here as we can see, this is called as a transaction. The process of sending rupees 50 from A's account to B's account is called as a transaction. And to complete this particular transaction, we have to perform a few operations. So what are the operations that we have to perform for this transaction? Let us see. First, we have to read the amount in A's account, which is initially 200. We need to deduct rupees 50 from that, and then we will be updating the amount back into A's account by performing a write operation. Again, we are going to read the amount initially, which is in B's account, which is 100. We are going to add those deducted 50 rupees into B's account. So we are going to add them, and then finally we are updating the final balance into your B's account by using a write operation. Now, as you can see, there were 6 operations we had to perform for this particular transaction T1, which is the transaction of sending rupees 50 from A to B, right? But as we can see here, only 2 transactions required your CPU utilization. For all the other 4 transactions, your CPU was idle. Yes, CPU was idle for 4 transactions. So what we can do here to effectively utilize CPU is that we can do concurrent operations. So here, as you can see, R of A is your read operation and it is considered as your IO operation. Similarly, write A is your IO operation. Read B is your IO operation. Write B is also your IO operation, and only 2 operations are needing CPU because of your mathematical operations are being performed in these 2 transactions, which only CPU can do it with the help of mathematical logic unit. And how can we stop CPU from being idle? As you can see, CPU was idle here for 4 operations, right? So to utilize your CPU efficiently, we can run 2 transactions concurrently. So let us see what can be done to effectively utilize your CPU. Let us take another example here. As you can see here, there are 4 data items. A has initially 200 in its account, B has 100 in its account, C has 200 in its account, and D has rupees 100 in its account. So now again A has to send rupees 50 to B, C has to send rupees 50 to D. In the same way, transaction T1 and T2 will perform, but only one difference is that T1 performs the operations from the beginning, that is it will start before T2. Operations in T2 are starting after operations are being started in T1. Okay, so here first read is performed on A, again deduction, again write is performed on A. The same way read B, addition and then updation. Okay, the same way T2 is getting performed, reading C, deducting 50 from C, writing back to C, reading D, adding 50 to D and writing back to D. As you can see, now 2 concurrent operations were performed, that is 2 operations were performed simultaneously alongside, right? Now in this 2 transactions, we can see that IO operations are being also performed and CPU operations are also there. But the difference is that here, because we had 2 concurrent operations, we can increase the efficiency of CPU utilization, because when here, so now let us see which are the operations which are not requiring CPU at all here. So here your first operation in T1 does not require CPU, okay, and in T2 there is no operation at all here, so there is no CPU utilization in this operation, fine. In the second operation there is CPU utilization. In the third operation there is no CPU utilization in T1, but there is CPU utilization in T2. So here at least during one for one transaction at least there is a CPU utilization, which means CPU is not idle here. But for the next transaction, as you can see, there is no CPU utilization at all. But in the next transaction, there is CPU utilization by transaction T1. For the next transaction, there is no CPU utilization by T1, but T2 is using your CPU. And for the last transaction, there is no CPU utilization here and here. As we can see here, there are only 3 operations in which CPU is not at all used. Yes, so let me highlight it with okay, as you can see here, now here this operation does not require your CPU, this operation does not require CPU, and this operation does not require CPU. But as you can see, all the other operations, either T1 or T2, is having your CPU utilized, which means if I would have executed these 2 transactions, T1 and T2, one after the other, I would have got 8 transactions in which my CPU would have been idle, which means CPU time is being wasted and we are not utilizing CPU in an efficient manner. But because we are running 2 concurrent transactions, my CPU was utilized in efficient manner, right? So this is the concept of concurrent transactions. And why do we perform concurrent transactions? To avoid CPU being idle. That is why we perform concurrent transactions. And because of these concurrent transactions, there are some issues which will occur, which we will be discussing next in the upcoming videos. But again, it is helping our CPU perform a lot more work. So it is better to perform concurrent operations than performing one transaction at a time. So this was a concept of concurrent transactions. Now let us see what is the definition of transaction. As you have known what is a transaction now, this definition will make you easier to understand what is the definition of it. Now here, as it is saying, what is the definition it is reading here is, a transaction can be defined as a group of tasks. Obviously, a transaction T1 had 6 tasks or 6 operations to be performed. So a transaction is nothing but a group of tasks. A single task is the minimum processing unit which cannot be further divided. Obviously, let us take one example. So there was one operation which was a equals to a minus 50. This operation is very simple enough. We do not have to, we cannot further divide this particular operation. Okay, so all the operations, all the 6 operations were simple enough to complete one particular transaction. So these 6 operations cannot be further divided and it cannot be more simplified. So a single task is the minimum processing unit which cannot be divided further. Obviously, the operations cannot be divided further. It should be that simple. So that is the meaning of transaction. So a set of logically related operations is known as transaction, right? So yes, there were 6 logically related operations for performing transaction T1. So as now we have understood, a transaction is nothing but a set of logically related operations. Yes, many operations put together will make a transaction, right? Many operations put together will make a transaction. So this was all about your transaction in DBMS. We'll be discussing more topics on the same concept in the next upcoming videos. In the meantime, if you have not subscribed to my channel, do subscribe to CS Netflix for getting the latest updates of my videos, and do not forget to hit the bell icon. And if you do like this video, then do like and share it with your friends. Thank you for watching.